All right, so yes, we just got a major update straight from the Space Marine 2 dev team. Check it out, a brand new blog post detailing the future of the game. And yes, some teases to the Horde mode. We're going to be talking about, yes, that public test server and also some of the feedback and I guess you would say cold reception to those FOMO events, as we call them, and they do have some words about that, how Space Marine 2 is not becoming a live service game. So we're going to dive straight into this, but you know what? Check this out right here. So over the next few months, we're going to be seeing some very big game releases, and if you're like me, you're already saving up for your next big game purchase. Now, one way I've personally found to save is through HelloFresh, a cost-effective meal kit solution that won't hurt your wallet and will keep your kitchen clean so you can get back to what you love, gaming. And these easy to prep meals are delivered straight to your door, by the way, so it's super convenient. And finally, gone are the days of waiting in a crowded grocery store. I don't have to do that anymore. And there's also variety here with HelloFresh. I never have to worry about getting bored. I can choose from over 45 weekly recipes and over 100 curated picks from the HelloFresh market. I can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner instantly handled. And there's plenty of snack options as well. And by the way, these are all very high quality ingredients straight from the farm, so you know they're fresh. Now, HelloFresh is also doing something very special, free breakfast for life while subscription is active. So click that link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen and use my code OWGFEB10 and get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life while your subscription is active. So check it out in the description below. All right, so let's get into that blog post from the dev team. So yeah, they go on to recap February, of course. We got a bunch of new content there. Then they did mention this. Following that, they did release a hotfix to help with a few remaining bugs and connectivity issues, but there were some problems that did arise from those hotfixes. So FPS drops and too many spore mine spawning, that is something that they are actively working on. So there is some notes. Now, we did get the Imperial Vigil community event, which of course you can obtain this amazing Mark 8 errant helmet, but there was a lot of controversy about this. They said this: we have noted that the community events have received cold feedback since we introduced them as an additional way to unlock cosmetic items. We saw that many of you mentioned FOMO generated by these events. Rest assured, we are not looking to transform Space Marine 2 into a full live service game. The items available through events will be available later on, so you guys can have a sigh of relief right now, and that is going to be for everyone. We want community events to be a way to unlock the items in advance for the most dedicated players and not to be a source of frustration and stress for everyone. Once again, shout out to the dev team for really understanding their community and, you know, basically offering us a sigh of relief here. So that is really, really good news. Now, they did say this, though. They go on to say, however, that means we must provide a smooth experience in unlocking said items, which has not been the case so far. We deeply apologize for the trouble and are currently working on a simplified process to unlock the items to make the experience less constraining. I've heard so many different problems with trying to attempt to unlock this helmet. It's been a pain in the butt overall. So hopefully in the future, unlocking these items is just a lot more simpler. They've got to really simplify the process. Now, let's talk about the next update, properly known as Update 7. So let's get into it. So we have this, what's coming up here. So the 7 update is in the making. We're working on it, and we'll give you a more precise date once we get one. This update will bring several awaited features: 1 chapter pack, 1 champion pack, private PvP lobbies, a new weapon only in PvE for now, so it sounds like it could possibly come to PvP, new operation, weapon perks rebalance, that's the one I'm really curious about, and then class weapon loadouts rework as well. These two things I think could be pretty significant. We'll find out. And a big one here, PvE prestige ranks. And it says once you reach level 25 on a class, you can buy a prestige level that will unlock a unique prestige perk. Choose them wisely because you won't be able to change your selected prestige perk before unlocking the 4 prestige levels. On top of that power boost, each class will have a unique cosmetic reward that emphasizes the class's iconic armor part. So that's really cool. So I actually mentioned that in a previous video that I wanted to see cosmetic rewards tied into the prestige system. And it's great to see that that is actually going to be in there. And I think it's going to encourage people to really dive into that prestige type system even more. So yeah, excellent choice there by the dev team. Now, what about, yes, Horde mode? That's the big question. As you can see, everyone is dying for it. They showcase that right here. So it says, so apparently you're waiting for the Horde mode. You're very eager to get more info on the Horde mode. It's one of our top priorities right now. One thing we can say is that it will be very different from the Space Marine 1 Horde mode, and that there are surprises we cannot wait for you to find out about. Winking smiley face. Once we get really interesting things to show you about it, we will do it. Bear with us. And that's the only tease we get for Horde mode? Are you serious? Damn, I was hoping for like at least a screenshot or something like that. But anyway, man, that is such a tease right there. But they are currently putting that as absolute top priority. So at the very least, we have that type of reassurance that is 100% absolutely what they are currently focusing on. But also, you know what has me interested is this public test server. I'm so curious about this. So it says, we are also excited to share our goal to launch our public test servers in just a few weeks. Hell yes. Expected to take place in March and before patch 7. Once we get a specific date, we'll make an official statement on our socials and Discord. So that means that patch 7, I'm going to theorize, could potentially be coming out late March or maybe even early April, based on what they're telling us, of course, about this public test server coming out before patch 7. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted us to test out some stuff coming up in patch 7, just to fine tune it, make sure we're happy, and then release patch 7 as a kind of like test to the public test server, if you guys know what I mean. But anyway, back to this. They go on to say this as well. This will give you an early access to upcoming features and the opportunity to share your feedback, helping us refine the content before its official release. It will exclusively happen on Steam, neither on Epic Game Store or consoles. It will be very easy to install because it will act as a separate game. So yeah, you got to have Steam to be able to participate in the public test server. So that's the only downside to that. Would have been cool if it was on console, but yeah, this is going to be the realistic option there. Now, also, they go on to say this, community feedback on the new absolute difficulty. So we have a word from our game director, goes on to say this, we would like to hear your opinion regarding absolute difficulty. Overall, we are quite happy with how intense the difficulty itself is. We see that it requires a lot of concentration, and we feel like it's fun in terms of how many enemies you have to face, how hard they hit you, etc. At the same time, we see some comments that's a bit easy, yet, on the other hand, we don't want to mess it up, and would like to hear the voice of the community first, which is always a great choice. Now, it says here are some data and context. All right, so according to our stats, the average win rate on absolute difficulty is 60%, significantly higher than lethal difficulty. That sits around 50%, which seems a bit higher than we expected. Interesting. So, at the same time, such high win rate is explained by 3 facts. Absolute difficulty is locked for new users. They say only 12% of daily playtime is spent on absolute difficulty. Only about 15% of weekly active players play at least one match on absolute difficulty. This means that only a small portion of very hardcore and well-prepared players are playing the absolute difficulty, and we must find a proper balance between wishes of the hardcore players and more casual players that simply want to have fun. Now, I'll be completely honest, I think we're almost at our limit in terms of how we can make the game harder without making it unfair and not fun. We can't significantly increase the number of enemies for performance and memory reasons. Greatly increasing enemy damage and HP will make it so players will die randomly and will make enemies bullet sponges, which will not be fun. Now, they go on to say, we do not want to implement a new difficulty because that would split the matchmaking pool even more. We have to stick to the existing 6 difficulties. The proper way of doing this would be implementing a set of gameplay modifiers. For example, tight formation gameplay modifiers that we've tried to release earlier, combinations of which would make each challenge unique, and I'm happy to announce that we are already working on the system. However, this will take some time. So yeah, as long as these, of course, modifiers are like optional, they give you really cool bonuses, and of course, perhaps are even tied to challenges that can give you cool cosmetics. I think a lot of you guys will really like it. Just depends on what the modifiers are. Now, they go on to say this, for now, we can tweak some parameters, and we would like to hear your opinions on specific items. Now, they have a poll here. They're asking you guys some questions. So leave your feedback in the comments here. Would you like to see dual terminus enemies and more terminus enemies in general on absolute difficulty? We can make it so there will be way more terminus enemies on a level, potentially 2 at a time, Plus, we can lift restrictions that prevent terminus enemies from spawning on levels that have final bosses, for example, the Hive Tyrant. So you could vote, actually go in here and vote. I'll leave the links in the description below so you guys can give your feedback here. Now, poll 2, shall we slightly increase enemy health and damage on absolute difficulty? Some of the builds can break health thresholds and start one-shotting enemies. We are only talking about small health and damage tweaks that should not cause enemies to become bullet sponges. Sound off. Also, would it be better to have more limited ammo refills on absolute difficulty? And do you want even more aggressive enemies on absolute difficulty? I'm very, very curious. Now, they say we will try to implement the adjustments as soon as we can. And they do have some exclusive wallpapers, by the way, for Space Marine 2 on their focus community, and emotes were worth a shot. And they go on to showcase some really cool community screenshots as well. Now, they say that's it for this month for now, and they did mention that, yep, upcoming content is in the works. So yeah, I am thrilled to hear that they're going all in right now on the Horde mode. That's what I wanted to hear. I was kind of getting apprehensive. I'm like, what's going on? I really want to hear more about the Horde mode. So at least we have some sort of reassurance right now that they are fully focused up on that Horde mode. And I'm very excited about Update 7. I think Update 7 can really reinvigorate the game, considering that there's going to be some really cool cosmetics and that prestige mode, which is going to be cool to see how you guys react to that. So I'm really curious about that one as well. But anyway, time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video, so let's do this. We got Steven who says, we need Horde mode, some more weapons and missions. Oh, and can we get Emperor's Children color? So it seems like a lot of you guys want that one for sure. Horde mode, top priority for me. I just cannot wait for it. I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to differ from the first game. Now, here's a wish list. New PvE modes like Horde and others, customizable AI teammates, double down on ordeal challenges, and cosmetic rewards tied to it. So a lot of people agree with that one as well. More cosmetic rewards, that's what I say. And then we got, I think an awesome idea for a future 40K game is a Battlefront style game. Big war, multiple units would be insane. I love hearing that. I used to cover Star Wars Battlefront franchise and absolutely love it. And it like breaks my heart that we don't have a Battlefront 3 right now. But maybe, just maybe, Warhammer can actually do that and take the torch from Battlefront and actually create something like that. I've heard that several times, that if you guys really want an amazing PvP style Warhammer game, it should be molded off of Battlefront. I feel like it makes a lot of sense. 100% totally agree with you guys on that one. Now, also, someone here has an opinion about Horde mode. He wants an old school Horde mode, where you get to build up defenses and power up by using some kind of points you get for killing enemies during a wave, like in Gears of War and Call of Duty Zombies. I love it. I was just going to mention Gears of War. That's what it reminds me of. That would be badass. I love the idea of being able to build up defenses. That's the sort of thing that would be really cool. I'm crossing my fingers that that's kind of the surprise they're trying to tease for us, because a defensive style Horde mode would be, I think, hugely popular with this game. But anyway, there's the latest happenings around Space Marine 2. Thank you guys so much for the love and support, as always, on the videos, for the comments. Stay tuned here for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.